We are America's Army. This is our profession. A profession built on a bedrock of trust that comes from the disciplined practice to meet standards of excellence.
Adherence to standards is fundamental to who we are as American soldiers.
Army civilians are absolutely an integral part of the Army team, and therefore standards and discipline are just as important to civilians as to soldiers.
Consistent adherence to standards builds trust among ourselves, and it is imperative to reinforcing the trust of the American public in the United States Army.
So leading by example is tough business, and that's definitely the foundation that has to be standards and discipline. You have to know what's right, and you have to have the discipline to do what's right when no one's looking at you.
It is our duty to do what is right, despite risk, uncertainty, and fear. Properly established and practiced discipline with adherence to standards enables us to achieve this goal.
There is no discipline without adversity. If you're just able to do something without any roadblocks or any trouble whatsoever, it doesn't take discipline. You just kind of do it. But to have discipline and be able to perform things while you have challenges, that is the importance of discipline. That is the key to being trusted.
That discipline is molded by the very trust we were talking about. To trust that the individual on your left or right isn't going to break in the face of the enemy or adversity or a natural disaster. You know the standard. The discipline enforces the standard and ensures that ultimately, with the assistance of those guiding principles, the job gets done.
You have to pick the hard right over the easy wrong. So in great adversity, you have to choose the hard right, because the easy wrong may lead you down a path that gets the job done quicker, but the second and third order effects of that decision may lead to a poor outcome or a mission failure at the end.
Standards are more than just formal, detailed instructions and codes of conduct. They are the benchmarks we use to measure performance, the milestones of excellence we strive for. Standards are who we are at our best, and they are measurable, achievable, and observable.
You know, people in an organization have to agree upon one thing, and that's how that organization will conduct itself, and those are called standards. Every soldier should understand and fully comply with the standards, because without that, we can't call ourselves a profession. We don't have a path to follow. Standards are critical for every soldier being able to understand their job and accomplish their mission in their realm of responsibility and do it morally and ethically correct.
For example, when I go out to the range, I have my left limit and I have my right limit. I can function everywhere between there, but I have to know what my left and my right limit are. That's a standard. Hey, you know what? You can shoot all in here all you want. You just can't shoot beyond this one and beyond this one. Because without standards, guess what? If I shoot out here, somebody may get hurt.
Military discipline begins with self-discipline and respect for proper authority. Discipline is behavior. It is not just punishment for wrongdoing. It is about doing what is right, even when no one is looking. It is how we perform our duty.
Discipline is doing what is expected of you in the absence of others. If no one's around to see, you're doing the right thing.
Having discipline personally means just the intestinal fortitude to do what is right, making a hard right decision over the easy wrong.
You always have to make the hard right decisions so that when you're in battle and soldiers' lives are dependent on it, literally, you will make those hard right decisions.
You know, for a unit to prepare for combat and to succeed in combat, it has to have a high level of discipline. Disciplined units, disciplined soldiers can be trusted, that they're going to exercise not only initiative, but they're going to do it with discipline.
Standards and discipline is about leadership, empowerment, and good decision-making. We are stewards of the profession, our property, our people, and our ethic. and always accountable to each other and the American people for our decisions and actions. We diligently train, teach, coach, counsel, and mentor to ensure our Army is well-led and well-prepared.
When our young soldiers get off the bus at those basic training centers we have in the Army, it's important that we ingrate them in the standards of this institution.
New soldiers and new members of the team, they learn standards through our codified rules and regulations, and they should learn it from mentors and other soldiers and civilians who are standard bearers within the organizations.
Part of being a leader is to be a mentor. You have to be that role model. So for that, you have to live your life by the Army standards, because that's how soldiers are going to learn what the standard is.
When I was a kid, we were actually walking through Fort Eustis. My dad was a SAR major at the time, and he was correcting people as we walked down the street. I just looked at him, I said, why do you do that? And he said to me, a standard passed over is a new standard set.
Yeah, so standards and discipline doesn't only apply to on-duty behavior. It also applies when you're off-duty. And really, when you're off-duty, that is the prime time that you're interacting with the American people.
Winning in a complex world requires Army professionals who are committed to the highest standards of individual and collective excellence. Regardless of their component or cohort, leaders set the example and develop climates that inspire the disciplined practice of our profession.
Everybody in the Army, if your name tag says U.S. Army, you're expected to uphold the same standards and have the same discipline. I can pick and pull any soldier from regardless of what component they are, and there's going to be an expectation that they know how to do it as well as every other soldier knows how to do it.
This is one team, and that team has to live by a set of values. And we're governed differently in each of the components of this organization, but a representative of the United States Army, whether you're a civilian, a soldier, and even a family in most cases, is a representation of this organization we call the United States Army.
We serve the people of the United States. We live the Army values. Modeling that behavior day in and day out is fundamental to how we bring value 24/7 to not only to the Army, but to the United States of America.
For the Army, the stakes are just so incredibly high. The very lives of our soldiers, and even potentially the freedom and safety of our country and the American people, depend on this. It depends on an effective, highly trained Army. And you can't have a combat-ready Army without standards and discipline.
We share an identity as trusted Army professionals with character, competence, and commitment. We perform our duty with discipline, striving for excellence. We uphold the Army ethic and standards of the profession. We are America's Army. This is our profession.